So yesterday, last week, we ended up having quite a good week within the market. We started to see a Solana push. We started to see XRP start to rampage to the upside. And ultimately, it was nice to see the altcoins come back to life. It was nice to see a little bit of altcoins, a little bit of an altcoin pump. And then what happened is on Friday, we had a little dip off on Bitcoin, came back down to the $30,000 range. And we're going to be speaking about how important it is for us to hold this level within Bitcoin, because we are starting to get altcoins and the popcorn effect. We're starting to get, as you could see this morning, we saw 𝗖𝗍 wake up. We're starting to see DeFi. We're going to pay attention to what's happening on DeFi. And we're going to pay attention to see, is Bitcoin going to hold this level? And ultimately, this huge dominance fall that basically created the altcoin pump, is there a little push up? And that's what we can see over here, that there should be a dominance bounce at some point. And the big question we're asking here is this going to be a little bit of a Bitcoin pullback? Are we going to have the altcoins that really rip to the upside? Are we going to have a little bit of a decent pullback? Or are they going to continue this flag that they're building and just pump straight from here? Now, the big thing I want to speak about within the show, guys, is we're going to speak about Bitcoin. We're going to go through a little bit of the macro for the week, how we want this week to play out for the bullish and the bearish scenario. But one thing we got to pay attention to is that we saw altcoin push last week, but it just started to create interest within the market. It did not bring retail into the market. Therefore, you can see on the tile today, we have Doge, possible meme coins we're going to speak about. What is going to ignite the retail? Because what they're going to do is they're going to come late. And end of the day, the fact that we're starting to get this eruption within altcoins now, it shows that when a cycle starts, it always starts off with a slow grind and like a blow off top. And ultimately, on this short little altcoin cycle, we get into the upside now, we should get that blow off top. But that's when retail come in. So we're going to speak about, is there a massive Doge pump coming? Because Doge has broken a really big daily trend. And if Doge comes, all of a sudden, you have XRP and Doge now helping that dominance come down. Because what we do have is we have another level that if we lose the support on dominance, we can come all the way back down to 48 to 47%. But let's be realistic about what's going to create that. It's bigger altcoins. So we're going to speak about Doge, we're going to speak about XRP, and then we're going to speak about, is Ethereum going to join the party too? Because if we have Doge and Ethereum join the party, we see an absolute huge altcoin eruption. And therefore, we need to pay attention to this current dip right now, see what opportunities are out there, and when are we taking profits and when are we adding to the portfolios. No more wasting time. Let's get into the show.
Click. Have you heard the news? What? With his finger on the pulse, it's like Sheldon knew. Click. When the sniper shoots, we got Sheldon on the charts, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗵𝗁𝗍𝗍𝗄. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. So enter the sniper, click. Time to be dedicated, sniper mode is activated. Explosions in the market are in target, and Sheldon demonstrates. Mirror on the wall, Master Sheldon tell us all. We got Sheldon on the chart, so we never lose. Enter the sniper, 𝗵𝗁𝗍𝗍𝗄. Enter the sniper, he marks the charts right. Enter the sniper, he's calling the cycles. Enter the sniper, click. Enter the sniper.
Fam, hope you had a fantastic weekend. I took a little bit of a break. We ended up going out with the family, just rebooting the brain, and I hope you did so too. Now we're starting to understand the power of being patient within your coin, but getting a badass entry. And you get a really good entry. Finally, when the market gives you what you want, you end up being above, and you end up being above the rest. A lot of people are coming in late and buying XRP right now. A lot of people are in late buying 𝗖𝗍 right now, buying Solana right now. And I'm here to just keep that level-headedness between us all and ultimately just show you that we still buy pullbacks, guys. The only difference is now expect your legs to the upside to be really quick. And expect these quick liquidation hunts, these quick little pullbacks back to the critical levels. And I'm going to show you these major support levels within the altcoins. Now, guys, I've changed my strategy slightly. You can see within the shows, for me, it's like, let's little bit less calls, but ultimately a lot more accuracy. And last week, we nailed the accuracy, and I want to keep that momentum. Therefore, that's why I rebooted on the weekend and ultimately came back so that I can be fresh with you guys. But I'm enjoying this run right now, and let's keep going with it. Well done on all of you guys being here and being part of it right now. So smash a like, smash the subscribe button. Remember, guys, we have cohort 7 coming within 2-3 weeks of Sniper School. Now, remember, it is free right now. So if you go below and you click the registration button, you open an exchange account, you put in $100 that you get to trade with, and you just prove to us that you've used one of our links, and we give you the whole course for free. That comes with live tradings, that comes with live events, it comes with many different things. The difference is this may be the last cohort that's happening with the structure, guys. As we do know regulations coming, we might have to slightly shift our model. So this is your last chance to get this current model right now before we do have the updates. Secondly, guys, one of your best favorite tools that you're going to use within this market, especially when it wakes up. I see we got Bitcoin having a little bit of a candle. We'll speak about that now. Is banter bubbles. So ultimately, you want to use banter bubbles as a great way to track the market. As soon as you have a bounce from Bitcoin, as in right now, when Bitcoin looks to bounce, you want to see what coin, you jump to the hour over here, and you want to see what coin is bouncing the quickest. When the market's dumping right now, what coin is dumping the hardest? And therefore, what this is going to do, it's going to always give you an idea of what coin to trade within the day. It's always going to give you a coin to which one to focus on. And remember, I changed my model slightly than what I did previously. I used to long the coin that was weak, and I used to short the coin that was strong. Therefore, I think you change your mind, because ultimately, if you see that there's a redness happening for the day now and you jump on, you see a coin is weak, that's the coin you should probably be looking to short. And it's the same with the long. If you see the market bounces and a coin's looking strong bounce, that's probably the coin you should be looking to long. And that's the way. So use this tool, go there, you get it on your app store, you can get it on the web. And let's get straight into what's happening right now. So what we do have at the moment, a little bit of a pullback, shorter time frame. So we had the nice little push from Bitcoin. It was nice to see that we had a Bitcoin pump last week, and we had the altcoins joining the pump as that happened. So that was really nice to see. Therefore, you started to see the altcoins move pretty quickly. And what I am noticing over here is whenever Bitcoin is going down at the moment, you have the dominance going up. So this is good, guys. This is good. It is good. Reason being is means that when the market is red, you're going to have altcoins getting hit harder than Bitcoin, okay? But what it means is when the market is green, it means they're going to outperform Bitcoin quite a bit. Therefore, you want to be very careful with FOMOing into tokens and making sure that you are catching the pullbacks. And therefore, we're getting a pullback right now at the moment. So we're going to be speaking about the major levels. So what I want to speak about with Bitcoin, again, it comes down to this very important low. So we went to the top. We went to the top of the range. We did slightly get a higher high, waiting for the squeeze. But end of the day, Bitcoin started slowing down. The momentum started slowing down because altcoins came back into play. And therefore, you know, Bitcoin never became the main topic anymore. So what it did is it had this little pop through at the top over here. We did have a little bit of a fake down within the market over the Friday night. And now what we're doing is coming to test this range low again. So the big thing we want to pay attention to this week is we want to pay attention that we still obviously hold this support over here, because we're still sitting in this middle range. We're still sitting in this range where you have two major zones. You basically got $35,000 sitting around the corner, and ultimately you have the $27,000 sitting around the corner at the bottom over here. And either one that we start closing daily outside here will give us a direction of which one we're going to be testing. For now, it's just another pullback from Bitcoin to the bottom of the range. So what I am thinking, bullish scenario, I'm going to speak about both scenarios, and then we're going to go through the altcoins and see what's the big opportunities to take trades on within this pullback right now. Bullish scenario is, again, we come down to this range right now. We hold the 29,500, which is this low over here, and we end up bouncing at this point and going back to the top of the range as the bare minimum. Bare minimum back to the top of the range. Okay, the only difference this time is the last times that it did this, dominance was going up. So every time we had Bitcoin start from the bottom and go to the upside, dominance was going up. Therefore, altcoins were hardly moving. They were not doing anything. But all of a sudden, because this shift happened over here, it's the opposite. Meaning that if you get this bounce from Bitcoin now to the upside, you're going to see the altcoins rampage to the up. Therefore, we're paying a lot of attention that Bitcoin's back at the bottom of the range here. What altcoins are we very interested in at the moment? And same thing with Bitcoin, not much to talk about here, is as it gets through the areas of 35 or the $32,000 level and we daily close properly above that, you can start thinking about 35 to 40,000. If we start closing below the areas of the 29,500, you can start thinking about the $27,000 pullback. And what I want you to just pay attention to is we do have the RSIs. So let's actually speak about the weekly close, because that was an important one. It's not the best looking weekly close for Bitcoin. Let's be honest, because it had this push to the upside and there's a long wick. I was sitting last night and I actually had a late night last night, just focusing on this daily close. I wanted to see where does the market or the weekly close. Does it close green or red? You know, I think if we had a red candle here, it was not going to be good, but we did go slightly green. But this is showing, guys, that there's still quite a bit of selling pressure on Bitcoin at this moment. There's a lot of selling pressure here, and there's still a big fight. And remember, this, for me, separates the lines between bull and bear markets. Definitely. Above these areas of 32, full bull. Like, I don't think we go test the lows. As long as we stay below here, I still think there is a possibility of the lower 20,000s. But for now, it's this little range. Only once we're below 29 do we start to worry about that. But ultimately, we do have this RSI sitting in the middle. So we have RSI sitting in the middle. So if we can reclaim and start to make a bounce from here, this RSI still shows that there is strength to the upside. And this still can be a continuation for the next 2-3 weeks. I do think, though, guys, and I want to be honest with you here, the fact that we're getting altcoins waking up, I do think Bitcoin, we don't need it to go to 3540, but I do think it's going to slow down in this range. And I do think you're going to have the altcoin catch up. You know, you're going to have a lot of the market catch up. But when that happens, you basically start to see a big acceleration in prices where all of a sudden you see coins do 20, 30, 40%. We saw XRP do 70% in one day. It does mean we're getting some sort of near top-ish area. And it does mean we probably got 2-3 weeks of some continuation of this. We're going to see some crazy altcoins to the upside. But I do think then we are going to get weekly stocks to the top. And basically the way I see it playing out is I see that the rest of this month is bullish. I see the first week or two in August bullish. And then I do think mid-August to September, October is a slight pullback, However, there could be the dominance continue to the downside and still have some popcorn effect on altcoins. So I would still pay attention to altcoins breaking major weekly trends, weekly moving averages, these sort of things. But I do think Bitcoin is going to hit a cool down. So I think this next 2-3 weeks is critical for us to make some good gains, to make sure that we are within the strength, and therefore take some profits, get prepped, because I think from October, September, November, I think the real rally starts. I think we start getting 50K Bitcoin. I'm actually surprised. I think we're going to be quite surprised what Bitcoin finishes off this year. And like I said previously, one of my biggest things that I'm prepping for is we all wait for Bitcoin halving for the bull run, right? We wait for the Bitcoin halving. 2-3 months later, we start the bull run. I think they send it early. This is still my personal opinion, but I'm prepping for it. I think we actually start the bull before the halving this time. Therefore, they're going to catch a lot of people off guard. And that's how they're going to get a lot of retail to come in late yet again. And ultimately, as retail are coming in, they're going to start selling off. So I think there is going to be a slight shift within this bull market than what we've seen in the previous times. And we just got to be prepared for that. Now, let's quickly jump into a few of the indicators. Remember, Mondays, we do focus on a little bit more macro just to get a view for the week. So we had a huge dominance collapse. This was thanks to XRP. So we can thank you, XRP, for getting some altcoins moving back to life. And now what we have is there should be a little push to the upside. So what I did is I put this little range on the 4-hour charts where I have the low and the bottom. And there is a little gap over here that is showing to the upside. Now, what I want to pay attention to, guys, is if Bitcoin does lose that 29,500 and this starts to the upside, you can expect a 10-15% pullback within altcoins. Okay, definitely. Or the second scenario, Bitcoin bounces hard right now and it breaks this, and this does go to the upside. So what that means, next 2 days or so, don't be surprised if the dominance is rampaging and there's a little bit more focus within Bitcoin. What that does for you is it gives you a day or two to focus on your entries within altcoins, because what I think happens after that is I do think there's another huge spike to the downside. Where we pulled back, it never really hits an important support. It did hit the 50%, but it never hit the main breakout level, which was actually the 49% level. So for me, there's still another huge altcoin leg coming. And ultimately, if it is this little push to the upside, it's this big leg over here. And then after that, is where I think that little pullback for a month or two starts in these areas. But for me, as big as we saw a push over here, is this push to the downside over here. Now, I don't think it's XRP that creates it this time. What I'm thinking is I'm thinking that it is Ethereum. I'm thinking that we have Ethereum that's bouncing on support right now. So if you look at the trend now, therefore, if you have not got your Ethereum entries, this is areas that I'll dip my toes. I would save a little bit in case that Bart Simpson does play out on Bitcoin. But I would do the 50-50 rule here, to be honest. I'd probably enter 50% of the capital that I wanted to get ETH at this level right now, because it's on support at the moment. And we do have 8-hour and 4-hour RSIs hitting the bottom. But I do think Ethereum comes to life, guys. I think from here, we need Ethereum to wake up so that it's no longer just a narrative, because end of the day, what pumped last week was the coins that got nailed by the SEC, right? The ones that got really hit hard, as in your Solanas, your Cardanas, your AVAXs. I don't know if it was AVAX, but many of those tokens that got smashed, those were the ones that really bounced really hard. But now what we want to see is we want to see the whole altcoin market wake up. And therefore, when the whole market wakes up, you now know retail is entering the market, where everything starts to pump, and it's not just narrative driven. So I still think there's that part to come before we do hit some sort of temporary high, where we do start a few week pullback. And that excites us. A lot more gains that can be coming. So for me over here, my first entries now is around the 1900 levels for ETH. And ultimately from here, I do see it attempting those highs. And what I do see, I think by the end of this run, is I see Ethereum getting to the $2,600 level. That for me will drop dominance hard, because what's happening right now is you basically have the dominance relying on XRP at the moment, which is good, but it was temporary. It was just some news that came out and a little bit of FOMO within the market. What we want is Big Daddy ETH. And therefore, it's on support now, 618 at the moment. And when it really starts to rampage is when it gets above that previous high that we made in April, which was the 2100 level. Then I do see it rampaging to 2600. So for me, I would also play smart now, because you're not guaranteed to get all your altcoins to pump right now. What you should get is an Ethereum pump, definitely, because that's next in line. So yes, we're wanting all the altcoins to rip and all of them to do amazing, but I would still be playing smart, guys, and making sure that you're playing the right narratives, and therefore ETH. And the reason why I'm saying ETH is because we had a really good bounce over the weekend for ETH to Bitcoin. Now, this was getting smashed for a little while as that dominance was rampaging up. And what we did end up doing was bouncing on a major support with ETH to Bitcoin. But then what we did over the weekend was this was a really good push to the upside. So what I'm looking at now is I'm looking at this having a higher low. So ultimately bouncing in these areas, and I see it really start catching steam to the upside. And this is going to be good, because this little push that we're getting up in the dominance now, I think this is going to get sucked quickly back to the downside when we have Ethereum wake up. And that's what we've got to be very grateful for Ethereum. We need Ethereum right now. We need it. We need it. We need it. Ethereum wake up. Therefore, all of this will go incredibly green if Ethereum does, because right now it's just hype over specific tokens, and we want a whole altcoin eruption. So ETH, definite. Now, I want to quickly speak about, just before I get into the altcoins, let's speak about the total market caps, because obviously this was a really strong push. Total market cap, good. It's still fighting this area. So therefore, it makes sense why Bitcoin's may be suffering at the stage at the moment, because we're not even as high as what we were in April this year. So the fact that we have Bitcoin sitting over 30K, but we don't have the rest of the altcoins at the levels that with what they were, this is the resistance we're fighting. So for me at the moment, this is again is a short-term pullback over here. And then I do think it attempts the major level over there. And once we can get the total market cap to get through this area here, you can see the gap. Remember what I spoke about gaps? This is where you make all of your money. Is ultimately there's the resistance. And after that, there's the next resistance. So what you want to pay attention to, let's just draw it up over there. There we go. What you want to pay attention to now is this is a resistance point. This is where it's quite hard, right? You are going to have a little bit of fight here, but you want to make sure that you're getting in your positions in these major areas over here. This area over here is where you want to build your positions, because if you saw on XRP, you actually had this pattern play out in XRP until it got through that important range. As soon as it got through the important range, it flew, guys. And you got to remember that a lot of volume is focused at resistance. So this is where bears are always going to hold control. And anyone that is short in the market is shorting these areas over here. But as soon as you crack through that wall, you no longer need volume, as the volume was here and all these stop losses trigger, and you start to get a squeeze within the whole market. So again, we're at resistance with the major total market cap. Therefore, we get through this level here, you have a whole market eruption. And this means ETH, this means everything. So again, you're paying attention to your buys now on this current pullback right now. And there are two major pullbacks. Small one now, maybe there's the bot, but let's have a look here. So yes, next thing, total 3. This is the one that's going to indicate all the altcoins, okay? important. So as you could see, we had this trend line, and ultimately what we did is we had a pump. It came over here. What I like about it is I saw a higher high, which was really good. So this sort of reminds me very much of this little area over here in the beginning of the year. You see, as we had this little pump off, let's just see if my drawing draws here. A little bit of lag. Let me just see why. Hold on. 2 secs. Dill, jump on here quickly. Can you hear me, Dill? Just unmute yourself.
How are you, bro? Yeah, how are you, man?
Let me just quickly sort this out. 2 seconds. I want to see why this is not working. Sorry, guys. I'm not in the banter offices. They got electricity problems today. Maybe quickly pop on a few charts there, quick, Dill. Let me.
Yeah. So just following on what you were saying about ETH, which is quite interesting. I'm just looking at a couple of these alts. I've got AVAX and Link. Let me share my screen.
Yeah, share your screen. So guys, Dill will quickly go through a few of his charts. Let me just quickly sort my thing out here quickly, and then I'll be back in action. 2 secs.
So yeah, just following on what you were saying there, Sheldon. You know, we've got these alts sitting down or settling down into some interesting areas, and you know, while we watch BTC, we just got to play things, you know, as it is. We got to play what's in front of us. So you know, this is AVAX on the 12-hour that I'm looking at. We've come down nicely. We've hit some horizontal support. We're hitting a nice 382 fib. You can see we've rejected at this 200-day MA, which is quite key for us. You know, so now like it's starting to look interesting again at this trend. But if we have a situation where BTC starts losing more levels, for AVAX,
it's mainly those trends we focus on there. Yeah, we focus on that trend line.
Yeah. So if we lose the trend, we deal with it. You know, we deal with it when we lose the trend. Right now, we're playing what's in front of us. I'm looking at support here, 382 horizontal. I've got a trend. So, you know, maybe one more dip down. But as far as I'm concerned, what's in front of me is a potential move up once we just sort of ping this region. If we lose trend, it means BTC is losing levels. And then I start looking at AVAX at around sort of 12.2, which is probably my next area where I'd want to look for a long. And then we got a similar setup, Matic. It looks identical. You know, Matic 12-hour, horizontal support, 382 fib, dipping down into this trend. It's all eyes on BTC here. You know, if BTC starts losing these levels, Matic's coming to 65 cents again for us. Might be a nice long there. Mama Sniper's favorite coin. I'd love to hear her views on this one, but similar situation. 382 fib, horizontal trend. You know, we're playing what's in front of us here. This looks quite bouncy, you know. If BTC doesn't kick on from here, we're looking at a 67 or 0.675 theta again. So yeah, that's pretty much how I'm playing things. And you'll see, guys, it's across the board, you know, on a lot of these alts.
I agree.
We got on Link as well. You know, they all look the same, right?
They all look the same, and I think that's what brings it back now. I see my trading views working again. It basically brings it back to this total 3 again, where, you know, we've just made the higher high. So what I'm expecting here is, for me, bull scenario is still in as long as we're above the 29.5. Like, that's the big Bart Simpson I don't want to be losing. I'll bring you back 2 secs now, Dill. Give me 2 seconds. Let me just see here. Okay, cool. So what I was saying here, guys, is what we did have was total 3 explosion. Finally, altcoins came in. And what this reminds me of is this little push over here. So what happened was the market got extremely damaged, and, you know, the altcoins got really damaged. And then what we had was we had this final push within altcoins. And what it does is you could see that it has this push up, it goes sideways for a little bit, and then it has this quick wick to the downside. And you end up having this little push that then gets bought up, and therefore after that you start making higher highs, because what you could see over here was this was the previous high, and we ended up getting this high, therefore started this nice little uptrend to the upside. So what we have over here is same thing. You had your previous highs over here. We've now hit this high here. It is at major resistance, okay? But what I'm looking at now is there may be another 3% of the downside now, but I am looking at another total 3 bounce and to go attempt this trend line. Now, this is the trend line we want. All of you guys that are sitting and watching right now, I want to say you are early. Even though that you saw a pump last week and you saw altcoins wake up, you are early. Reason being is, as long as you are in this trend line, you're early. Smart investors, they always buy into major resistances, into major break of levels. The more inexperienced money, they come when it's already moved, when it's already happened. And when the true altcoin pump happens is this area over here, where ultimately you can see $100 billion come into the altcoin market. And that's where we want to get into the flow over here. So this pullback now is a buying pullback, shorter time frames, and I will be putting stop losses, of course, because of the 𝗵𝗏. But this for me is to take advantage of this push. Now, what would I buy? I'm going to speak about Dogecoin again. And it's in the perfect buy areas for me right now as things speak. We're sitting at these major areas at the moment, which is the breakout level perfectly exact. Now, guys, what is going to bring retail? Yes, XRP is going to bring hype, but it's not going to bring retail. What's going to bring retail? Meme tokens and probably the whole altcoin explosion after that. For me, we had a big breakout of Doge, and this is still one of my single calls that I'm doing over the next few days. As I said, I'm not doing crazy amounts of calls anymore, more accuracy. And for me, this is a perfect break, a higher high, and it's in buy zone right now. So I've been building a Doge position. I don't have the best entry. I'm around 71 cents, but I'm buying this on the higher time frame moves. I'm buying this for a move that I think is going to be a next 2 to 3 weeks to the upside. Now, if you can see this little yellow box that I have on top here, this is the area between your buy zone and here to build those positions. If you had to go have a look at my video that I did on the weekend, I did it on how to build positions. I would definitely build my positions between this range, because what we have after this is where I see a huge explosion in Doge. I think Doge goes to 10 cents. I think it goes to 10 cents. There maybe even is a possibility of it going to the higher areas of 15 cents. I think it's going to happen quick. Therefore, I think it's news driven. I think it's something that comes either from a tweet or it comes from somewhere. But I'm expecting something like this to happen at any moment within Doge, or even like this one over here. And these are good 40, 50, 60 percenters. But what you got to understand, it's not just money that you want to make on Doge. It's understanding that this is what's going to bring retail back into the markets. And therefore, once you have this, Doge will play a big part of the dominance coming down. And if you have Ethereum break up too, that's how you get that big spike to the downside. So I'm playing a little bit ahead, and I've had this experience before where I've seen altcoins wake up, 1 or 2 altcoins wake up within Bitcoin, but then I know meme season always comes. And when this happens and you start to get these big pump offs, know that there's probably a few more days left of that until we have a little bit of a decent correction to the upside. Now, I want to go back to Bitcoin for a second before I come to the altcoins, and we'll speak about what 𝗏𝗏 was speaking. What we still want to see, guys, is we want Bitcoin to go to bounce here and to really clear this 32 level. The fact that we're not above this 32 level is a concern. It definitely is a concern, because what it means then, it means Bitcoin's going to go sideways for another week or two. And this is the top for Bitcoin for this run. Because what will happen is this will just range between 31, 32. Altcoins will catch up a little bit, 20, 30, 40% in altcoins. And then the high will be in on Bitcoin, and you'll start a big pullback. And the big problem with that is if we don't clear the 31, there is still a possibility of a 25, if not a $20,000 Bitcoin. And therefore, we just want to pay attention and make sure that over the next 2-3 weeks, we do have Bitcoin clear this level properly. And what we want to see as the bullish scenario is you do want to see Bitcoin go to the levels of 35 to 40. And then that pullback that happens over a few weeks will come and will turn what was previously a very hard level to get through into the floor. And therefore, we know full bull that we could have a 50K Bitcoin for the end of the year. So again, it's uncomfortable right now, and I know how you guys are feeling. It's red. It's like, should I be buying? You have to be getting used to buying uncomfortability. You have to, guys, because again, the market bounces now, and there's a huge green ass day tomorrow. Then you feel like buying, and that's the problem, guys. You're going to keep getting caught in the trap and the mentalities. Right now, you have the little bit of uncomfortability, and you have Bitcoin at support. This is the levels to be focusing on buying. So my first one is Doge. The second one I'm going to speak about is a top up on Solana. So Solana, for me, cracked that major level, and I don't think Solana's done. This, for me, is not the top, in my opinion, and the chart's not agreeing with it too. There's no major resistances in the zone. For me, Solana still goes to the $38 to $40. $38 to $40 region. And therefore, I'm going back to that concept of if a coin is strong, that's the ones we long, right? That's how it works. And what you have over here is it finally cracked that level of 26. And I spoke about it on the weekend. Well, on Friday, I spoke about there should be a test to 26. 26 from there, we push up. Over the weekend, what did we do? We came down and we did test. 25.30, 25 to 26. We tested it. Now, will you be lucky today to get that test again? This is where I'd be interested, between the 25 to 26. And these are the longs I'll be opening for the run up to the higher levels of $40. So I still think Solana's only just getting going. And until you have Ethereum and Doge pumping, you're not promised that any other altcoins are really going to do crazy things. So make sure you are in the strong coins. And you got to remember that Solana did finally break the levels, and it's back to the levels of where the pre-FTX crash was. So so for me, if you did miss the Solana, now you are getting redness. I would possibly DCA a little bit now at 27, and I'll just be ready in case it goes between 25 and 26 again. So I think Solana is definitely one of the big ones. Let's go into these quickly. So again, here we go. I see a big bounce in 𝗏𝗡 coming here. Any stop losses will be under this support trend, guys. So you put your support trend in. Any of my stops, that's a major collapse. That means a Bart Simpson for Bitcoin. Then we don't know where that floor is next. But for now, this is a 𝗏𝗡 buy. This is the areas of a 𝗏𝗡 buy between the 74, 76 area over here. And I do see 𝗏𝗡 going up to the dollar region. I'm still very much strong within altcoins here. So here we go. 𝗏𝗡, perfect now. I spoke about the buys. We got it at 69 and then ended up rallying to 90 cents. And from here, I'm seeing another rampage. Now, why I'm also saying short time frame, why I do think there is that bounce, is you can see your RSIs. Your 8 hours hitting the bottom. Your 4 hour is at the bottom. And let's see, the 12 hour is reaching the bottom. Therefore, if we hold the support level over here, I'm expecting a good bounce within the same tokens that were strong last week. Let's look at the next ones. Cardano, boom, buy zone right now. There's the buy zone. RSI is at the bottom. Cardano, same thing. These coins only just started getting going. And for me, there's still more upside. And I do see Cardano going to the areas of 45 cents. Still another 20, 30, 40%. If not, Bitcoin goes to 40K and you end up getting those crazy entries. But this was expensive last week, and it's now turned the previous rooftop into support. It's uncomfortable, but this is where you buy. This is where your risk is low. That is where your risk is high when you chase the green. Therefore, Cardano, another big one. You can see I'm still focused on those SEC tokens as they're the ones that are rampaging. Let's quickly speak about XRP for a second. So what you have on XRP, guys, obviously extreme push to the upside. I gave you guys take profits at 75 cents and at $1. So I hope you did take your profits. There's two plays here on XRP. So what you do is you go to the hour and you can see that there's two little tops that we made over the weekend. We had the first push that happened on Thursday and Friday. And then you had the second one that happened yesterday. And what it did is it made this trend line. Now, guys, I've been noticing that as soon as there's any bullishness in Bitcoin, XRP looks pumped. This thing looks like it wants to go even more. So XRP, for me, I still think there's strength. I think it's too expensive right now as a long-term holder or a spot trade. But I do think as short-term trades, this is the coin where you can make incredibly strong cash. So if you are a long-term investor, I would still be waiting for 60 to 65 cents just to see if we come and test the level that we broke out on, that major top that created this huge pump, see if we turn that into support. So this will be the areas over here. Then what you have is your short-term traders is if we break this trend within the next 2-3 hours, I think it goes back to the high levels of the top because the difference now is you're sitting at the areas of where we were last week, but the RSIs were at the top here, guys. Now it's at the bottom. Therefore, recharge, looking for another strong push. Now, guys, if XRP does break this level of the 1 cent mark, where does it go? You have your next target of 1.3. 1.3, which still says a possibility of still XRP possibly doubling from here. So for now, be patient for the buys at 60 to 65 cents on the pullback. And there is a trend line. If the trend line breaks, shorter time frame traders, enjoy. I think it will be a really good token to be focusing on. Let's go through and see if there are any other ones over here. AVAX, let's speak about AVAX for a second. Boom. Buy zone on support now. As you can see, my targets are higher than the previous ones, 17 to 20 bucks on AVAX. So again, AVAX strong last week. What was resistance is now turning into support. Therefore, there is strength. Looks like DeFi. So it's not ready yet. But if we have this big push within the market, DeFi is going to wake up, guys. And like I said, if Ethereum wakes up, I see DeFi waking up strong. So you can see there was a big 𝗖𝗍 push this morning. It ended up doing, up to 20% within the day. And I'm paying attention to us getting outside of these trends. So we'll give this, there might be a good pullback, actually, a little buy of dipping around the 75, 76 cents, just to slightly dollar cost in over here if you want to buy before the trend. Otherwise, over here, I do see a nice, strong DeFi explosion. So you want to pay attention to 𝗖𝗍, to Uni. I don't know if I'm extremely bullish on these for long-term views anymore, because they really got hammered, but definitely for trading and spot trades to make money in the interim, it's going to be narrative driven. So don't be surprised if it's DeFi now and AI next week. It's going to form on these. But 𝗖𝗍 for now is one of the favorites that I'll be focusing on. Near protocol. I'm still thinking there's a great near pump coming, guys. I really do. So my buy zones here are at 1.39 to the 1.45. So here's already one of the top. I still think this has a rally up to the 2.5. I really think NEAR is going to be one of the big ones. And then I got so much to speak about, guys. I got Phantom, I got Render, I got all of these. But for now, let's just pay attention to this bounce. So I don't want to go through too many calls. I've done it on many shows before. Let me stick to what the calls are now. I'm calling Doge for the day. Doge is one of the big ones. It's hit a huge buy zone now, and anywhere below 70 cents would be my areas of entering the trade. I spoke about Solana, Retest, Cardano, AVAX, Matic. They all in short-term buy zones. I would stay with the strong coins until we know that dominance is going to fall and Ethereum wakes up. If Ethereum wakes up, then the whole market wakes up. Then we'll have tons of coins to trade. But for now, I'll be sticking with those, especially with trading. I wouldn't be worrying about my long-term portfolio right now. Until Bitcoin's below 29,500, my long-term, whatever your tokens are, just be patient within them. Those I'll be holding pretty strong. Dole, is there any other coins your side you want to chat about, bro?
Well, I'm just looking at this 1-inch situation. I mean, 1-inch absolutely ripped this weekend.
A dead pump. It's 2-inch now.
It's yeah, well, it's more than 1 inch, that's for sure. So yeah, I mean, look, I didn't want to get caught into buying a big candle, so I've just plotted this out, just looking at realistic areas. If we remain bullish on DeFi, or we remain bullish, on 1-inch in particular, where would I want to grab this thing? And I can see it's drifting down into this region here. It's an interesting zone for me. It's a 200-day MA. It's a 382 fib. There's a little bit of horizontal here, so it kind of gets my attention. If this area doesn't hold, then I'm looking at 1-inch down here at this 365 region. So these are my two sort of 1-inch areas. I like your calls on AVAX. I like Matic. Yeah, we're definitely on the same page there. 𝗖𝗍, that was an interesting one you were talking about. We're trying to break this major trend, so there's no rush, guys. There's lots of time to get on this boat. Let it break the trend. We'll deal with it then. I saw a couple of guys in the comments. If we're talking about retail coming in, we're talking about meme coins. We got to talk about this 𝗵𝗵𝗄 story. It's hurt us before. It's hurt us, but we need to deal with it. So I'm looking at 𝗵𝗵𝗄 on the 12-hour. Yeah, I'm just seeing a range at the moment. So for the last while, it's just been up and down this range the whole time. So do we treat it the same way again? Do we trade the range until the range breaks?
So the only thing with 𝗵𝗵𝗄 that like I'm excited. Me personally, I'm not going to trade it, but yes, it will bring retail. The only thing is its market cap's still small. Like we need something that's going to really drop dominance. Like we need big money.
Oh yeah, it's not going to be
there, but it's not there yet. Yeah. It's not there. 𝗵𝗵𝗄 is just an indicator to start selling. So if you see a huge 𝗵𝗵𝗄 run like you've seen before, start DCing out of your trading portfolio. So just use 𝗵𝗵𝗄 as a sell signal. It's not really going to drop dominance for me and bring huge money into the market, but it will be a great sell indicator. Cool.
Yeah, but that's it. I mean, again, watching my levels. I like what you're saying about the other guys. I'm jumping in a few of these alts in these areas, and we'll see how the day goes.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes from there. Cool, brother. Appreciate it. Sweet. Cool, guys. So again, we're going to have an action-packed week. So for me, I'm hoping to see a good bounce now, like I say. So I just want to show you and just clarify again. So guys, I'm on fire right now, and I'm not going to deny it. My calls and my vision in the market at the moment is really in a good place. So I want to keep it that way. And therefore, I'll make sure that we get any big moves to the upside. That's one thing I will definitely work hard on, to make sure that we go slightly less, but we make a lot of money. You know, that's ultimately the goal. So what you just saw now in the shorter time frame is Bitcoin just tested the bottom of this range, which is good. And then there's a short-term 𝗏𝗡, guys. So pay attention now. Any bottom of these ranges here is the great areas to add to your AVAXs, your Solanas, all these sort of things. But you want to make sure you're in on the shorter time frame by the time we start to get here, because I think there's going to be a nice little upside down 𝗏𝗡. And this is where your money's going to move. And ultimately, you'll see within the dominance, look at that. I just want to show you guys again what you must like about this. You saw there was a bounce now, right? You saw there was a bounce. Just before that, there was a dump, right? Look here. Look how the dominance spikes up when the market dumps. As soon as it bounces, look how it comes down. Dominance is in altcoins favors, guys. Altcoins. That's why you want to buy. Don't expect to see big pull. Well, to be surprised if you see big alt pullbacks, but that's the ones you want to load up, because even if Bitcoin just has this little move, like I just spoke about, someone said that's a little 𝗏𝗡, not for altcoins. Because if we have this little push up here, that dominance is coming down, guys. You could see it very much right now. Dominance coming down. And therefore, altcoins will catch up really quickly. Guys, have a fantastic day. Join Sniper School. Go smash the registration button. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Then we'll trade hard. Let's just allow this little pullback here. Be safe out there. And I promise you my side, I'm going to keep this fire going. And we're going to keep getting fantastic calls. And we're going to have a great week. So have a fantastic day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Much love, man. Fam.